You'd think a pandemic might defeat the point of living in a city. During lockdowns, much of the fun and culture and social life that define urban living are off the table. And these being big, sprawling metropolises, it'd be easy to feel a bit hemmed in when you can do little else but hang out in your flat. But there you'd be wrong. Our cities adapted. Communities rallied like never before. We fought to help our businesses survive. And somehow, we even found ways to have fun. Now many of us have emerged from lockdowns and are taking tentative steps back towards semi-normality. We thought it was time to recognize all the great things our cities have achieved over the past 18 months. We've collected the 10 best cities in the world to live in. Watch the video until the end and leave it in the comments, which is the best city in your opinion. Number 10, Los Angeles. LA's best assets have always been outdoors, but the past year and a half spurred new appreciation for all-season farmers markets, beach weather in the winter, and a bit of solace on a canyon trail. Angelenos are always inventive, hence why it voted the second most creative city in the world. And that was especially the case as entire city blocks turned into art installations, holiday cheer went to the drive-thru, mutual aid networks sprouted up on sidewalks, and seemingly every parking lot became a drive-in. Now if we could just use some of that creativity to rein in the housing crisis, 87% described LA as expensive. The rest must have just sold their 2-bedroom bungalow for a cool $1 million. Number 9, Tokyo. The face mask, that quintessential pandemic-era staple, was already a common accessory among Tokyoites way before COVID hit, which is perhaps why life here never really slowed over the past year. An overwhelming 82% of survey respondents said Tokyo was great for discovering new things. Look around and you'll notice loads of new venues and attractions have cropped up across the city over the past 18 months. Some 73% of those polled also said the city is great for getting around without a car. The city's super-efficient public transport system ensures everyone can easily enjoy all that the city has to offer. Number 8, Porto. Some 73% of Porto residents said their city was great for culture, and even in the midst of a pandemic, you'd struggle to disagree. Throughout the past year, Porto's legendary graffiti artists have been busier than ever, splashing the streets with some much-needed color, while our many galleries have been surprisingly active too. The city has also begun to give back public space to citizens, with ample pedestrianization, more cycling infrastructure, expanded terraces, and new community gardens. We attended concerts in parks, bought books under the shade of trees, supported local businesses, and discovered new ones. Many people started baking bread, cakes and cookies at home, and now many of them have gone pro. Number 7, Tel Aviv. Tel Avivians are a hardy bunch. When COVID hit tourism, this high-tech hub hit the reset button. The pandemic caused the city that never stops to take a well-needed pause. Spaces like Dizengoff Square and Park Hamezela played host to picnics, gigs, screenings, and talks. After the lockdowns, Israel led the vaccination race, and before long locals were back sipping cappuccinos in cafes and doing yoga on the beach. In our poll, 81% of Tel Avivians said their city was fun and 84% said they can express themselves. Indeed, TLV is home to the region's biggest pride parade, the widest choice of vegan options, and its nightlife always offers a real alternative. Number 6, Prague. Lockdowns hit Prague suddenly and severely, but thankfully, the city's eye-popping beauty remains unscathed. In this year's index, in fact, some 82% of Prague locals still sung the praises of the city's looks. The Golden City's gradual reopening has presented amazing opportunities to simple pleasures unthinkable in pre-pandemic Prague. Having Charles Bridge almost to yourself, the audible chirrup of birds in Old Town Square, a contemplative morning coffee down a deserted side street. Add in the fact that the Czech capital is incredibly walkable, with 89% of us saying it's easy to get around without a car, and you've got hands down one of the world's most livable cities. Number 5, Montreal. When the pandemic hit last year, Montrealers rallied. This city is famous for its community spirit, and up against the biggest crisis in a generation, we showed enough of it to make any city proud. As our famous music and politics make abundantly clear, conformity has never been in fashion here, and it's those differences that bring us together. 73% of locals would describe Montreal as diverse, and even more say it's easy to express who you are. Our city may be in a perpetual state of construction, with seemingly endless protests, frigid winters and boiling summers too, but at least we've got each other. Number 4, New York. If there's one thing that defines New Yorkers, it's a certain brash resilience. That's why it doesn't come as a huge surprise that NYC got high marks for just that quality in this year's survey, coming in as the most resilient of all North American cities. From the continued success of its open restaurants initiative, which transformed sidewalks into vibrant community hubs, to its new Key to NYC program, encouraging vaccine uptake, Gotham has managed to survive and thrive over the past 12 months. Thanks in large part to that iconic can-do attitude, it found creative solutions to changing health precautions, and now the streets are buzzing once again. Number 3, Copenhagen. Denmark is widely regarded as one of the happiest places in the world, so it makes sense that 66% of Copenhageners said the city was relaxing in our poll. General quality of life is high here, and no doubt the city's many innovative green initiatives help put locals' minds at ease. 60% of us think of the city as green, but there's so much more to Copenhagen than hygge and radical dual-purpose energy plants like Copenhagen. In fact, 82% of residents find it easy to discover new and surprising things in the city, and we can all raise a glass of aquavit to that. Number 2, Manchester. Manchester sure is a resilient place. All things considered, we've thrived over the past year, with communities here really banding together through the toughest of times. Mancunians are a very proud people, and so it's no wonder 71% described the city as creative in this year's index. This is the home of factory records, the Fall and the Smiths, after all, and in 2021 the likes of Manchester International Festival, MIF, and Grayson's Art Club have continued to show this city really punches when it comes to big, splashy cultural events. On a more local level, small firms like Results CIC offered free mental health support to frontline workers, while the Eagle and Child Pub gave away 4,500 meals to vulnerable locals. Number 1, San Francisco. San Francisco has never been known to follow the pack, and when things got tough over the past year, SF sprang into action with one of the strictest COVID responses in the US. But that didn't dampen community spirit in the Bay Area. Businesses got creative to stay afloat, while innovative initiatives like the SF New Deal put restaurant employees to work making meals for those in need. Neighbors stepped up to take care of each other through far-reaching mutual aid networks, and one genius even had the idea of hanging sourdough starters from trees to fuel all the baking people took up. The video has come to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot for us to continue bringing this type of content here. Until the next video.